What's up, duelists? What if I told you that there is a way for you to be just like Kaiba and use AI and technology to get better at your Yu-Gi-Oh game? This is not a joke, this is not a scam. I'm going to show you a tool that I built in just 2 days using Python and ChatGPT to be able to compare the interactions between 2 different cards. You don't believe me? Then check this out. All right, so we're here inside of Virtual Studio Code, and I'm going to say right off the bat, you don't need to know anything about coding for this showcase. I'm just simply showing you that I am using Python right now in order to run this application. In fact, if you see here, we have 4 different modules that we're using. Number 1 is the main module, which is just going to run the application. We do have another one, which is the GUI, so it provides a user interface for the user to be able to interact with it. And then we have a CSV module, which downloads all the information about all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards if it's not downloaded already. Because I've run this, it's already saved locally on my computer. And then the last one, which is arguably the most important one, is this My OpenAI script. Now, this is really important because what it's going to do is it's going to make it so we can send information about different cards to ChatGPT, in this case, to be able to see what a possible interaction will be. So let's jump into this and see how this actually works. So I'm running the application. It's going to take a second to load, but once it loads up, you're going to be able to see it's a simple and easy to use interface. And here's what we got. What we're going to do now is choose 2 different cards. Let's just keep it simple and easy here. I want to choose actually a card from the new Infinite Forbidden set. So let's do Unstoppable Exodia. And if I click this here, you can see the card details load up, the images here. That way you can verify that you have the right card selected, and all the information about this card is listed in front of us. The next thing we're going to do is let's do another popular card that a lot of people like to play, Imperm, right? So I've went ahead and selected this here. Again, we have all the card information and the card image. If I now go down to this button right here and select Check Interaction, what is now happening in the background, it is taking all the card information from both these cards and sending it to ChatGPT along with some prompts that I provided. Now, what are those prompts? Well, it's asking it 3 different scenarios what would happen. In scenario number 1, what would happen if Exodia were to activate its effect first, and then Imperm were to respond, and then vice versa for scenario number 2. What if Imperm were to activate first and then Exodia? And then the last scenario is just what is the general consideration that you should be having when it comes to the interactions of these 2 different cards. And as you can see here, it's actually loaded the response here inside of the application. So you don't need to go around to different websites or places. It's all hosted in one place. And you can see this is the interaction and what it believes would be the outcome in all 3 of those scenarios. Now, I will say this text is kind of long. So what I'm going to do, because I want you guys to be able to view it to verify this information, is I'm going to make a Google Doc. I'm going to make it public so people can look at it and review it and see what that interaction would be. And let's go ahead, let's do another one because I think this is so cool. Let's do a really common interaction we see all the time. Let's do Ash Blossom. Let's load that up. And let's do Called, right? Boom. Now, we as duelists pretty much know, especially if you've been playing for a minute, that if someone were to play Ash and someone were to play in response Called, we know that Called can actually banish Ash, making it so that way its effect won't go through, right? And the other way around wouldn't really do too much, right? So we've now done this with ChatGPT to see if it can actually come up with that same evaluation. And here's the response it has as well. Again, we'll verify this later. I'm going to put this in the Google Work Doc. But again, this is just so cool that we live in a day and age where we can provide all this information to ChatGPT to try to come up with what is the most likely solution. Again, trying to help us to be better duelists. Now, on that note, I want to talk about who is this application for. And I would say for myself, but what group do I fall in? Well, I am a returning player, someone who's played a long time ago, back when I was in middle school, and now coming back. And with there being, what, more than 11,000, 13,000 cards, there's just so many you can't possibly remember them all. And making an application like this just makes it easy for you to try to determine what are the possible things that would happen in different types of scenarios, especially common things that are being played, again, like Ash and Called. If you are a new player, you may not know this interaction, but being able to see this, you're able to think about that the next time and what you should do to strategize in your next upcoming duels. Now, Who else is this for? I would love to be able to make it so that way this application can be used in a professional level, because as I've spoken to other duelists, there are some situations in competitions where they have to get judges involved in these kind of ambiguous cases where there's certain interactions where it's kind of unclear and the judge just makes the best answer that they can think of, but sometimes people don't know if that answer was correct or not. So hopefully this could provide a little bit of clarity for that as well. All right, let's move on to the conclusion of this video. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with what I've been able to accomplish in just 2 days and with my very minimal skill sets when it comes to programming and Python. But however, I have to say this is a milestone in itself, but though I would classify it more as a prototype. But because it is a milestone, there are going to be several more coming afterwards, especially after speaking with other duelists out there in the community that suggested other features they would like to see in this application. Things like resolving entire chains, where you can input all the cards in the chains, assign each card to each player in a specific order, and it would be able to determine what would be the outcome of that entire chain, which just saying out loud would be sick. But here's the problem. Again, I'm more of a novice when it comes to programming, and even with the help with Chat GPT, this was a very challenging project to do. So what do I propose? Well, if you or someone you know who is a programmer or a software developer who has a passion for Yu-Gi-Oh! And also so happens to have some spare time on your hands, I would love to be able to connect with you to see how we can grow and build this program together. All you need to do is go down to the description below. I'm going to leave a form where you can fill out some information, and that way we can connect and again have those further discussions. Another thing I want to say really quickly though is that I didn't want to just show you this video and be like, hey, look at this cool thing. Too bad no one can use it right now though, because it's not ready for release. What I wanted to do is provide kind of a middle ground solution. If you want to be able to know about any potential interactions between two different cards, do me a favor. Go down to the comment section below and give me the full name, please, the full name of two cards you want to see those interactions. If you don't do the full name, I won't be able to do it. I'm sorry, I just got to set those guidelines straight right here. But if you do, I will reply back either with the entire interaction in the comment, or if YouTube won't let me because so many characters in a response, then I'll provide a link where you can go and look at what those interactions are. In fact, saying it out loud, it might even be better if I update the description with different types of interactions that you guys want to see, and I'll provide that link so you can see what those are. So with that said, I want to say thank you so much watching this video. Hopefully it was something interesting that you haven't seen before, or at minimum, it just gets you thinking about what AI can be doing, even for something as simple as a trading card game. Now, with that being said, if you're looking for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, I just did a podcast with a friend of mine, another duelist named August, where we had some ideas of how Konami can make the user experience for their players much, much better. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check that out. In the meantime, thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.